Good morning, y'all. Welcome to Boss to Boss. You're listening to Miro. We slow here like we are slow, though we really are. It's a beautiful day, beautiful time to be alive. Even if you're in Chicago and the weather sucks, or other parts where the weather sucks, it's still beautiful to be alive, to be able to breathe and feel okay and do things and make things happen. We sometimes forget that, and apologies for the day delay on the podcast, but with the weather kind of coming out of nowhere yesterday and where I'm at in the Midwest, Chicago, in the US, it kind of threw us off guard a little bit. You gotta wake up and all of a sudden you're dealing with inches of snow. It's not really, we don't expect snow here yet. Usually doesn't get here till mid to late December, maybe January, but we're getting it, end of October, beginning of November. Hopefully that's not a sign of bad things to come, but you got to adjust. And I had to adjust, I had to make sure the crew knew, the crew left early, that the customer was aware that the job could take longer. We had to cancel one of the jobs because we were doing stuff outside and the dirt that we were going to move was frozen. I had to, unshovel at my fiance's house, my parents' house, my grandparents' house, a lot of other things and stuff starts getting in the way, and it is what it is. You got to adjust, you got to plan accordingly. If you live somewhere else, maybe there's a tornado, maybe there's a hurricane, maybe there's a cyclone or whatever those things are out there. Mother Nature, you can't really predict it. It is what it is. You could to an extent, but a lot of times problems will come no matter where you're at, and things like that. You kind of just have to expect and realize that you're not going to be problem free forever, because it was nice when it was warm and now it's not. Unfortunately, when you live in a place like Chicago, you got to deal with the bad, and the bad is the cold, and it's something we expect day in, day out. And maybe that's why I eventually will leave Chicago. I love it here. It is my hometown, but I don't know. We'll see one day what the cards hold. And it's something I've mentioned before. I do want to still travel. I do want to still go out and venture to other places, maybe move somewhere else temporarily. It all kind of depends on how the business goes and where things take off and whether or not it's ready in a year, 2 years, 3 years, etc. But at the same time, that's why I also am building a podcast network with Steve Wiley, and why I want to be able to have another source of doing things. As much as I love Hodgepodge, and that's the baby that I started. There's other things that I want to do as well. It's not going to be the easiest to work with a company, run that business when I'm away. Kind of depends on how much we grow and how many people I have working with us. But that's why I'm also doing podcasting. It's another avenue that I just love, and hopefully, not hopefully, I know it's going to get us places too, and definitely it's something that I think everyone should look into. I actually had a very interesting, stay tuned for an episode. I just interviewed Jordan Harbinger a few days back, so stay tuned for that episode to be released in a few weeks. But we talked about how there are so many podcasts, and I was wondering, I asked him, you did all these things, and why podcasting? And it's something that I kind of wanted to talk to you about over here on this episode, on this rants and recaps, that there is still so much opportunity when it comes to podcasting, or just getting out there on the internet, on doing media. Because for everybody that's not watching TV or the radio, they are tuning into the internet, and something on demand, such as a podcast, an audiobook. And at the end of the day, there's always going to be consumption. There's always going to be content, and it just depends on who floats to the top, who continues to do it, who continues to pump out content, who continues to pump out good content, who stays, through the struggles and keeps getting by and does it differently and does it better and is exciting and people love to listen to that person or thing or whatever it is. Those are the ones that are going to survive. And there's a lot of opportunity. There's good reason to still double down and get fully into podcasting or anything online, like videos or audiobooks, etc. Because for all the new podcasts and things that come out, a bunch of them are going to drop out. A lot of people that do it usually give up after 2, 3, 5, 10 episodes, or after one book, or after one video or two, or they have content that just is not original. It is copied content. It is content that is very boring and somebody else does it much better, like a Jordan Harbinger, for example. That's why make sure, no matter what it is that you do, this could kind of relate to anything you do in life, make sure to be different. Niche out. Be yourself. I won't ever sell out. I'm not going to be sitting over here talking about products and things that someone told me and forced me to talk about. I won't. I'm going to talk about what I believe and what I think is true and real, and the day ins and outs. My immigrant status is really coming out here. I can't even talk today. But for all you that don't know, I am Polish. Initially, I came here when I was 5 years old. Not that you can really tell because I don't really have an accent or anything, but occasionally I can say a word or two and it comes out, and it's coming out today. I don't know why. I really don't know. But kind of what I'm getting at is, make sure to stay real with your content, true, and don't just mimic what others are doing, because chances are those others you're mimicking are already doing it much better and have a way bigger following than you have or I have. And it's going to be a lot harder to steal their listeners, their consumers. Whereas if you had something that's specialized, that's niched, that's different, then people will flock. If people see, if you're catching the eyes and you're on the radar of other people and things that do similar things, but you do it just a tad differently, that's where magical things happen. It is. And another topic kind of wanted to talk about is FOMO. So just this weekend, I missed a major event in Las Vegas. I usually like to go to events. I always talked about how I went to Thrive, how I went to 10X. And I've been going I kind of want to expand that and go into more and more things as the time goes by. And there was a big event that, shout out to one of my boys, Travis Chappell. He had a big event called Build Your Network Live. And I missed it, unfortunately. It was a group that I've been a part of, that I've met a lot of people through, that I'm constantly pretty involved in. And I missed that event. A lot of people I knew were going there. So I definitely had FOMO going on this weekend. Like hardcore, like I haven't experienced in a long time. And it just, I guess you kind of develop that community, that feel, with people you know and trust, and you want to go out and see. And when you miss a major event like that, you experience FOMO. And I'm sure you could be experiencing this or have been experiencing this with something else. Maybe it's not a major event. Maybe it's just buying something, not being at some birthday party, some night out, a friend's, a friend's giving. Yeah, there you go. Whatever it is. We do get FOMO. We do. And we watch social media. And that was definitely the part that played the biggest role in it. It was social media. So I kind of went against everything I ever say, and it's not paying attention, not scrolling up and down social media, because you're going to lose your shit. And it's kind of what I did. I started looking, I kept watching videos, pretty much all weekend. I was like, damn, it was a pretty good time. But then I kind of, stepped back and realized, like, Miro, what is going on? Like, you clearly are doing everything you talk about not doing. I support things. I support, whatever is going on out there, but I shouldn't be miserable because of it. I made a decision and I have to stand by it. And that decision was I have a lot of life things happening that prioritize right now. Certain life things such as a wedding and money is something that plays a major role. It plays a major role, and I've made other investments in myself over the past year or two. And right now, I think it's time to let those investments pan out. Other investments I made into education and other investments to go in other events and meeting other people, for example. But right now, it's time where I kind of actually save because there are things that are more important, certain life things that I need, eventually to have enough money for. And I already have another trip planned anyway, where I'm going to DC and New York in about a month with my fiance. And that's like the only trip we're doing, since the last one we went to, which was like September, and then probably nothing till like next year summer when we get married, unless it's like something tiny. It's just time to crunch right now, and it's time where I have to make decisions, important decisions. And I made that decision after talking it over, after valuing the option of the couple $1,000 that probably would have went, maybe not that much, but who knows? Sometimes it comes out to be that much, going away for the weekend. And I valued it as something that I had to make the decision to stay. It was a very conscious decision. I weighed out the options, and that's what I made. I stayed, and now I have that extra money, with me. And right now, that is worth more because some of these certain things that are upcoming just need certain attention in my life right now. And it's kind of at the point where decisions have to be made. And when you make the decision, stand by it. You made it for a reason. Breathe, go for a walk, take your dog for a walk, run, whatever it is, but step back from the situation. Don't give social media too much time, because at the end of the day, only the best things will be posted on social media. Only the good, only the things that will make you FOMO. Think about it. Who's posting a picture of a birthday party or a night out or some gala or something, an event, and they're showing like 5 people in the corner sitting there miserable, texting on their phones? Unless they're making fun of that event or thing. Nobody's posting that. People are only posting and talking about the best part that happened. And that's why social media will drive you crazy. So limit yourself to what content you're consuming and kind of separate out from it. Don't overconsume, because you have to realize, what's reality and what isn't. And that's what you're going to get with Bossed to Boss. You're always going to get the reality. You're always going to get the truth. So thanks so much for listening, everyone. If you can please check out our YouTube page and subscribe. It's PodRiver Media. We kind of renamed the page. And then if you can also leave us a review on iTunes, that would mean so much to us. With just, being a growing podcast. People do pay attention to that stuff. So anytime we could have some extra reviews on iTunes, that just means so much. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you crush. You better crush. And I know you will the rest of your week. Talk to you soon. Peace.
That is all for this episode of Bossed to Boss. Your next step is to visit bossedtoboss.com, where you will find proven techniques followed by professionals to help you make that next step. Again, that is boss2boss.com. And remember, the time is now.